Hey y'all, welcome back to For the Fans Entertainment, where tonight we are going to talk about that crazy episode of Survivor where we saw some advantages played, some advantages outplayed, a blind side, a shot in the dark, so many things done. And wow, y'all, I think I need a cigarette and I don't even smoke. So let's just jump into this because there is so much to talk about. Frank, Stan, how are you guys doing tonight?
I smoked a cigarette. That's how good it was. Like, making us wait a week, I think, built the anticipation up. It's like Jeff took us on a first date and didn't put out, and then we had to wait till that second date, and holy shit, was it worth it.
Some
Well,
fine, some fine love in there.
well, I'm a pediatric pulmonologist, so I can't endorse any smoking of any kind. But that was crazy. My mouth just dropped to the ground like moment after moment after moment, and I wasn't sure like what was going to happen. But I was early. I think early in the episode, I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be so obvious." But I looked at my clock and I'm like, "Holy crap! There's 24 minutes left, and Tribal is starting, so it's gonna be crazy."
Yeah,
Oh
like
boy, deliver.
no doubt this was going to be a wild ride. And as pissed as I was last week, which I didn't get to talk with you guys last week, so I didn't get to voice my displeasure at having a cliffhanger because that's not Survivor. Like, we don't want that here. Thank you. But it was worth it in the payout because this was a lot and it would have been way too much for them to fit into one episode with the twist on the merge and then the Erica twist and then the tribal council. Like, they definitely made the right decision. So props to you, Survivor editors, because you know what you're doing. We'll sit back and shut up and just enjoy the ride. Because
Finally, the fans can shut up a little bit and
yeah,
just
because we pitch a
let
lot,
it rip.
but you definitely know what you're doing,
Yeah.
and the payout was worth it. So let's just get into this. At the very beginning of this episode, we get this advantage highlight where they showed Xander and Nasir and Shan getting their idols, and we see the extra votes. We see the summit between Deshaun and Evie and this relationship, and Liana and Shan, and we're getting like everything brought up. I was like, okay, obviously they're highlighting all of this for a reason. And I really thought we were going to see everything laid out on the table.
And we did. Well, first of all, it's for people that actually don't watch Survivor. It's a good recap for them in case they just want to like
I
catch
mean,
up
it's not
on.
just for people that don't watch Survivor. I think people that are hardcore watching Survivor are having a hard time keeping up with it.
That's true.
Because I did think it was interesting that, in our fantasy league, we have like something if they possess an advantage or idol at the beginning of the episode. And so, like, all season, I've not been counting Deshaun's extra vote because it's like he has not technically received it yet. And so I was happy to see that Deshaun did not have the extra vote listed beside his name, even though we knew as soon as he went up to vote that he would be getting it. So, yeah, it's just a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, I think that's too much. I mean, I loved what happened in the episode, and I'm not complaining. And it's very similar to what happens in these like orgs or like little minis where like there's 15 idols or advantages like in play. This just hasn't in the live game, like the live tribals and the quick play. It reminds me of like the Survivor fan base, like playing Survivor, and they're kind of bringing it to light, which is really, for me as a super fan, it's great.
Frank?
I loved it, and I like the advantages. There are some advantages I don't like. I don't like the time twist thing, the time travel shit. Of course, it's worked out fine. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't like taking away a win from somebody, but I love how they've got the extra advantages, the extra twists. I mean, the extra votes alone, plus a shot in the dark, it puts a new level on the strategy. And yes, there are going to be some old school Survivor fans that want less advantages, but Charmander has already evolved into Charizard. Just go catch a different Pokemon because I don't think we're ever gonna see Charmander again. This is a new game. I think it's super intense, new level of strategy, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that with all of the advantages, I've really liked what they've done. Like some of them have been very interesting. I like the partial merge, but I don't like, being able to go back in time because you cannot strategize around, hey, we're safe. Okay, now we're not safe. Especially whenever they've already gone back and they've thrown out names and they've done 2 days of strategizing. Like, wow, how do you even navigate that? So I don't think I necessarily have a problem with the things that they've tried. It's just the fact that they have done them all in one season. So that's where maybe they could have just.
Thank you, Karen. Gotta catch them all.
I actually do like the Pokemon analogy as well. I think it's great, but it's a little OP. Like it's a little overpowered. Like having to be able to flip the course of the game just by being the person that's not chosen is huge. What did Erica do to deserve it? And just picked a rock and then.
My thing is, we knew it was going to be played.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously.
There's no scenario where it doesn't get played. Like,
right.
Obviously.
Or even if they would have like tweaked it a little bit and been like, hey, you can reset time, and they go back and they have to redraw the rocks. And everybody got the fair shot of competing in the exact same immunity challenge again. I would have been okay with that. But it's the fact that you've got these 6 people that were safe and now you're not safe. So, I think that's where they just missed the mark a little bit.
Right. Maybe if she only had the time stone and not the whole set of infinity stones.
Yeah, correct. Or maybe she could have just reset the whole game. Like,
correct.
Let's bring back Brad. Let's bring back JD.
Oh, shit.
Just reset the whole game.
26 days reset. Oh,
yeah.
How many days were they into it then? Would that be close to 39?
It was night 13 when she was on exile and it was raining. So, like, reset 13 days. Back it up.
Next season, Jeff, listen to this. That's gold. Great job, Kiley.
All right. So while Erica is on exile, I think this is the first rain that we've seen. And I'm like, if there was any chance this girl wasn't going to smash this hourglass, that went out the window because I'd be like, these bitches done sitting me out here to exile with no shelter and it is raining. I'm going to F your game up as much as I can. Even if it was no advantage to me, if I still was not safe, I still would have flipped the script just to be a petty bitch.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, I would do the same thing. Like, revenge is a dish best served cold, and no matter if they say it's, rock, paper, scissors, whatever, like, you would have 2 days to think about the decision and why Nasir would be picked. And there's inevitably a decision, some thought. And I would be pissed. And like,
I was hoping for the meme to really come to life and her be like, I did rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. It would have been great for her to throw that analogy back out there onto them, but that's okay. So we get her coming into the immunity challenge. And what do y'all think about Jeff's reveal of it? Because Erica was going straight in. She was going to tell them exactly how it was. No prompting from Jeff. Jeff puts the brakes on her and it's like, hey, just let me explain this a little bit better.
He's like, this is my line.
I was like, Erica marched up them stairs looking like a Rocky, ready to go fight. Okay. She was pissed. And I was here for her energy.
Same. I mean, the Jeff thing, it is obviously premeditated. It has to come from Jeff. He has to delineate what the rules are so everyone's clear. I think it was necessary. I'm not sure if, we could have done it anything else. Like, I think Erica wouldn't have possibly explained it, or they'd just have to reshoot it. Anyway, They would not let us have a scene with Erica just rambling through whatever she wants to say. So Robert doesn't do that.
So as Jeff is explaining this, we have the 6 that were safe, Deshaun, Danny, Sydney, Nasir, and Evie, and Heather. How could I forget? They are looking. And they're like, no, not Heather.
No, it's not Heather. You forgot. It was Sydney, Evie,
Ricard,
Ricard, and
okay. And those 6 are looking like oh no, no, we made a mistake. And they have to be considering, like, okay, how would it have been different if we would have sent Nasir? So do y'all think if Nasir had been sent in Erica's position, would Nasir have broken the hourglass?
Anyone is smashing that. You send me away, I'm smashing shit. Give me a hammer.
I think everyone except for possibly Jeannie would smash it. Jeannie probably like, oh my god, I'm so
Nasir
glad.
seems so sweet. Like, I
But
just feel like
Nasir knows the game. I think
I
it's
feel
been
like Nasir
clear.
might not have, because he's just such a genuinely nice person.
You can be a nice guy and know how to play Survivor.
But yeah, no, I mean, I would have smashed it before
I
Jeff even
would
left. So,
smash it.
um,
I want
and
ratings.
the other six are like, yes, this is the best news. And like, seeing these two polar reactions to this news is really exciting. Obviously, I'm a Shan stan, so seeing her go from being very, very vulnerable, because she would have obviously been the only UA member, to being safe, I was like, whoo, deep breath.
Yeah. I think she's played a good enough social game where even if things would have stayed the same, she is golden.
Yeah.
Although we have in these last two episodes, we kind of have seen the golden castaway of this season make some big mistakes. I think what she did in the last episode definitely played a hand in what happened later on in this episode. And I think that was our first really misstep of hers.
Yeah, that was a big misstep. Obviously, I wasn't here last week to talk about it. And her dropping that in front of Tiffany was big. And so, like, I just can't help but think, was it an actual mistake where she just, was so excited to be back with Liana and she let her, just spill the beans? Or, did Liana play up her relationship with Tiffany of like, oh, hey, Tiffany's my number one, and Shan just assumed that she had already told her? I don't know. That would be very interesting. I'd love to know the answer to that.
Thinking about it from a different end, though, I mean, it could have also helped be what separated Liana from her original tribe.
Yeah.
That happening might have helped cause some mistrust there and bring her over to the other side. I never even thought about that.
Or even, was it Shan throwing a little bit of shade onto Liana, like, hey, y'all can completely trust her. You know what I mean? Like,
putting a little wedge in there.
Yeah, so many aspects of it. So obviously, we know Erica smashes it. So the other six are now no longer safe. They're going to compete for immunity. And we see this lovely foot challenge where we get some close-ups of everybody's nasty ass, 13 days with no bath, feet.
My feet would be so hairy by that point. Like, it looked like a Lord of the Rings challenge. Little hobbit feet.
So, I mean, I felt like this was really, really competitive. And I was like on the edge of my seat, like, is it going to be Evie? Is it going to be Sydney? And they're showing all of these shots of Sydney side-eyeing her. I was like, there's no chance Sydney's going to win. And Ricard, out of nowhere, like, if you see Ricard in this, like, everybody else looks like they're kind of frantic, and he is so calm and composed. And I think that is something that is so beneficial to him. I was like, okay, look, if I'm on a plane that is on fire, like, I want Ricard to be my flight attendant, because he has such a calming presence to him. And yeah, he just cool, calm, and manages to get his little flag in.
Being able to go ahead. Being able to control your nerves in those challenge situations is what separates normal people from challenge beasts. Because when your nerves get a hold of you, you start stumbling, you start shaking, you overthink things, and that's when disaster happens. So him being able to keep ice in his veins during those challenges is definitely what I think won. I was nervous, though, that he wasn't going to win that one, because Sydney had those toes. And she had I thought she had like the perfect strategy to have a lot of control. He kind of, I think, got lucky, because I think her strategy with using her toes is these like little,
I disagree. I think Ricard had actually an excellent strategy, and this is the first episode that I really loved Ricard's edit. I like Shane, and I always thought Ricard was a little bit off-putting to me, but I think this episode was this kind of breakthrough episode. I love it. I think the strategy with the feet I actually played a very similar challenge like this in an org. You had to stack Dixie cups, those like solo cups, make a pyramid out of it. It actually is better for people that are taller and have longer legs to get to the top of the flag and lift up because you have a lot of strength with your legs and length with your legs. Go over so there's no chance and you just drop it in, and that's exact when Ricard adjusted, when Ricard was initially, his feet were next to the flag, and he was like, "Oh, this doesn't work." He moved his feet down, and then to the flag part, or moved his feet up and then put it in. It worked. I was like, "Ricard has it. Ricard has it." And true enough, Ricard got it, but it was very close. Got to give it to Sydney and Evie. But I loved how Ricard won, took his name out of the hat for getting voted out. And what do
I
you
was
guys
so
think
happy.
about Shan's reaction? Oh my God, Ricard! Like
Well, yeah, I
after,
mean, I think there's no doubt that people are going to know that they were together. Like the only way that you survive a tribe, basically a Pagonging, is to have a
right,
close relationship. So, like, I think denying it, trying to hide it, that's not going to work. So, like, whatever,
might
cheer
as
for your
well just
friend. And try to repair that relationship a little bit. You're both safe. You've got a few days off to try to just mend your relationship. Make sure you're on the same page. So I think this
Find
would
a trio and sell yourself to them,
I
and
think
where
this
they
would
feel
be
safe.
best
So
case scenario for them.
yeah,
absolutely.
Back on the beach, which once again wasn't here last week, so we didn't get to talk about it. I didn't get to talk about it. Let me rephrase. So we see the formation of what is many people are calling the cookout. Not the cookout, the camp out. And so we see the four remaining Black players say, hey, we're going to work together. We need to look out for each other. But what I thought was interesting is that we very quickly also see Nasir and Ricard pulled into that group for like a POC alliance. And that is what I think the cookout messed up in Big Brother. I say that obviously it was successful because they all got to the end, but they did have more POCs that they could have pulled in and they didn't. But seeing it in Survivor, they quickly snatched up Nasir and Ricard, and Sydney was naturally just going along with them, and that obviously gave them the majority. But I love seeing them, including Ricard and Nasir, into this group because these are probably the 6 people that I'm most rooting for.
yeah, I'm so about that alliance. I love a lot of the players in it. I think
Yeah,
really all of them, I think, are worthy winners
yeah,
from what I like to see from a winner. I know everyone has their different flavor, but I also think that since I'm a Ricard fan, like I think he's set so well in the middle of all the power that's going on in here. I'm excited to see how it all plays out. And
yeah.
I was so nervous for this group going into tribal.
I mean, I think I like it. I think obviously I'm rooting for a lot of the players in the alliance, like Danny. I've been hard on him for. I've been not hard. I gung ho on it hard.
You've been hard on him. Okay.
Yeah.
How's
Not
that, Dr.
hard.
Dan?
I've
Is
been like
Trisha
rooting.
here?
I've been rooting for Danny since very early on in the game. You know, Deshaun and Shan, of course. And I love Nasir. So I like the alliance. I don't know how strong it's gonna be, especially since there are a lot of players. My bold prediction is that alliance is not gonna even be close to the final 6. I think there's gonna be people that are gonna try to take shots at the alliance. I think it's not the people in that alliance are gonna try to take shots at each other. Um, Unlike the cookout where it was as was they're doing it for a cause much bigger than their own. In Survivor, it's not premeditated, it's not done in day 2. You guys are fighting on your own, like for your own, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But good for them. I think I can't wait to see. And there's idols, like there's no idols in Big Brother, right? In an eviction it's straight up, but there's
I
idols, there's advantages, there's could shake it up. I don't know. I don't know.
I think we're gonna see Sean and Ricard kind of play sides against each other. I think we're gonna see very similar to the last season of Australian Survivor. I don't know if you guys have watched it. We won't give any spoilers because it's amazing. But I think you're going to see sides going at each other and a few individuals kind of directing traffic at each other. You know what I mean? I think it's going to, at least I'm trying to manifest that because that's what I want to see. But I think we're going to see the old blue, old yellow kind of taking shots at each other. And, it's going to be like maneuvering to the side that works best.
I love this. I would love to see Shannon Ricard play the middle, play both sides, whittle away at them, and, emerge from the middle, arise from the ashes. So back on the beach, though, we get Danny voicing his displeasure about this twist. And I'm like, I am 100% on board with you, Danny. Like, everybody is feeling this. It's some bullshit. You should not ever win immunity and then have it taken away from you.
Yes, I agree. But also, like,
Voice
like,
it, Danny.
No, I think you lock it up. Like, unless that's what the crowd is all feeling, then add some fuel to that. Yeah, pour some gasoline on it. But unless that's what the whole crowd's feeling, kind of just shut up.
Yeah, I agree. And then Deshaun like juxtaposes on the scene, says, it's 41. Like, you have to play with the cards we're dealt with. Like, we're all vulnerable now. So
yes, I think that's the heart of these reality games is like you have to, like I said, evolve, move on from Charmander. Like, go to Charizard. It's okay. It's scary, but we gotta evolve. That's where I'm at. Yeah, that's my stance. And it's solid. I know it's not a popular opinion right now in the community, but that's where I'm at.
I don't even read what's going on in the community, but honestly, like, ain't nobody got time to do that. But I think, Survivor is Survivor. It can't just be season 1, Richard Hatch for the first alliance. Where does it stop evolving? Like, Idols came out. And then what did we say about it? There were no idols before. So yeah, like, these twists are brought up.
I think it's hard to play a game, though, when you don't know the rules. And that is kind of what we've gotten into. Because when they introduced idols into the game, it was known. Like, hey, you are going to get a clue to a hidden immunity idol. And everybody knew, like, that was out there. And that is something that you can begin to strategize against.
Drop the 4, though. We're dropping the 4. It's a game that we don't know how to play.
This is still Survivor, and in its base form, you win immunity, you are safe. Unless you give it away.
I can't remember. From the girl that was excited when Jeff got the coup d'etat. Is that what the power was in Big Brother? You were probably pumped for that.
Listen, I only like advantages when they benefit the people that I love. And I like Danny, go Tigers, go Cowboys. And so I'm just feeling you, Danny. Like, I agree.
No, I mean, the twist where Yul Kwan in Cook Islands or Aris, is it Aris that had the idol in Panama? Had the idol that can be played after the votes are been read. Like, that's OP, right? In fact, that was one of the first hidden immunity idols before, the season 14 where Yao Man kind of just started finding idols. In 12, 13, 14, that's the evolution of the hidden immunity idol. Nobody complained. Like, it's just.
I think some people complained about the super idol for sure.
But like, it wasn't like. But mind you, Frank, that back in the day there was no such thing as Twitter.
Yeah, there was less visibility of everyone in there complaining.
Correct.
A simpler time.
Like, and the simpler time, which is amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So back onto the beach. The name that gets first thrown around is Evie. We see this group of, Sydney, Deshaun, Danny, Nasir. They're all throwing at Shan. They're throwing out Evie's name, and Liana is like, ooh, I don't really want it to be Evie. But we quickly see her relationship with Shan is going to be that pivotal for her. Up until this point, we had seen where Shan has voiced how close she felt to Liana, but we had not seen Liana voicing how close she was to Shan. And so it was like, maybe Liana's going to play her. But no, that is not what's going to happen. she is fully on board with Shan. They decide that they want to go for Evie, and she just kind of goes along with it. And this may have been the downfall to Liana's game.
I think her one of the earlier episodes was titled "My $1,000,000 Mistake." Remember that she kept Xander, I think, over Voce or something like that.
Yeah.
And this is her $1,000,000 mistake. I think she had the last confessional. She's like, I want to be a Sandra or a Parvati. And I'm like, oh, girl, we all know what's going on. No.
Yeah, there was a lot of mistakes on her and this.
She's
episode.
20. She's 20.
Yeah.
She's 20. She's 20 years old. Remember.
Yeah.
There's a lot of immaturity.
Yeah. So on the flip side, we see Xander, Tiffany, and Evie talking, and Xander is like, hey, I'm going to play this idol for you. So when he's initially saying this, like, what do y'all think about his strategy of like straight up being like, yes, I'm going to give it for you?
I'm just like,
personally, I'm like, yes, do it. Everybody knows you have this idol. It is just going to create a target. Like, get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic read too. Like, I didn't see that any of that information was leaked to the three of them, and he just read the room, knew where it was going, and I think it's the smartest play.
Yeah,
I completely agree with that. I think I've been sleeping on Xander's strategic, prowess or strategic capability all season long. I was like, I love Xander. Always going to be a Xander fan, but this is the episode where he really showed his true strategy, and I love it. I'm here for it. I'm on board the Xander train. I texted Jack. I'm like, tell Xander I'm on board the Xander train.
Yeah, that's why I was like, in the episode, I was like, see if Jack can come on, because his boy's
yes,
killing
it would have been really great if we could have had Jack tonight.
He killed it. He crushed it.
Yeah.
He read the room perfectly, and I think what we didn't see in this episode was Tiffany the Jewish mom had a hand in doing so, and our girl Tiffany, that was a little bit on the kind of the bottom end of visibility in this episode. I think she had a lot to do with it, because where did the idol end up going at the end?
That was just the smartest move. I don't think she had any control
absolutely.
over it.
Okay, well,
I think she had their trust.
Don't shit on Tiffany, okay?
I'm not shitting on her, but that was a Xander move. She has his trust.
I'm not discounting the Xander move.
Yeah, no, it was definitely the right decision to give it to Xander over Evie, knowing that Liana has this power. And so, I mean, I think that the biggest theme of this season is like the people underestimating the ability to just keep your mouth shut. Like,
knowledge is currency.
Yeah, knowledge is literally power, and Liana got a lot of it, but Shan knew about it, and Shan leaked that knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knows where all of the idols are because everybody told everyone. They all know about the extra votes. Like, everyone has, like, diarrhea of the mouth. They can't keep any secrets. Nasir is probably the only one that didn't spill the beans about getting the idol, but it doesn't matter because everybody else told everyone else. So everyone knows that Nasir has the idol. And so it's just so frustrating. Please, future Survivor players, stop telling everyone about your advantages. Stop.
I think, though, we saw this episode, there was a player that gave knowledge in the game for a reason, and it pays off later, and that's Xander. I think him telling Danny was fantastic. Fantastic move. Right time to give the information to get the reaction you want.
Exactly. Right. And I think it's premeditated, everyone knowing anything, because in order for the three idols to be activated, you had to say all three phrases, and three people that don't really know or trust each other have information. That information is the best idols are played when nobody knows. The Kelly Wentworth idol in Cambodia, not even Abu Maria knew, none of her allies knew. She pulled it out and played it on herself to get rid of Savage, and that was iconic. But like, if there's idols that are public knowledge, I think Xander played it the right way. Here, I'm gonna use it as shield, which kind of was him kind of coming off as naive and aloof and like, I'm a bro, Xander. I'm a
So
bro. Like holding my idol. Like
this is going to be skipping around a little bit, which I don't typically like to do, but I'm afraid if I don't say it now, I'll forget. When Xander whips out his idol in the tribal council of like, here it is, I've got it. Look, Liana. Like to me, it looked too small to be a necklace. It looked like a bracelet. And so I'm just sitting there like, Shan, you have one, baby. Like, does that look like yours?
but it's a bracelet. Even Shan's look like a bracelet, right?
No,
The
that's
idols
what
this season
Ricard
are
put
not
in. That's what
necklaces
Ricard
because
put into it.
no,
So
no, no. The idols are bracelets. I've actually seen. I've seen the how big it is. It's like this big. It looks like a bracelet. So Xander made his fake idol the same length and same look, and then the same shell. So when he kind of
yeah,
holds it like that,
I need to see them compared side by side because I'm like, to me, this didn't come across looking authentic to me, and so I was like, Shan, call him
I
on
mean,
it.
of
It's
course,
okay.
it's not. Of course, it's not authentic because it's a fake idol. But I think
Taking it out for me, I think that wasn't probably the best move because for me, they already know you have it.
Yeah,
Why take that risk and them calling
yeah,
your bluff? Because to me, that seems like you're trying to throw me a red herring.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you
or
can
you can't
definitely
hate that.
overplay yourself. You know, you can, oh,
Absolutely.
well, maybe he,
What's the perfect play? Nobody's gonna know, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because you can definitely overplay yourself of like, okay, I don't think that that's really it. I think he's given it to Evie, so I think you should ask Evie. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like they did the right thing with giving it to Tiffany because that was probably the last one that they would have thought would have had it. But anyway, so let's back it up a little bit. Back to the beach and the discussions on Yasa decides that they're going to go after the Luvu 3. And they're like, I think that we should go for Deshaun. So are y'all a little bit surprised that when Evie and Deshaun did have this summit meeting where they did seem to connect a little bit, but I mean, everybody's going to probably connect, that she's quickly on board with, yeah, like it's Deshaun, that's fine.
For me, I didn't know at that point. I was like, God, it could be anybody. I thought it was
Yeah.
Sydney going in, and then at this point, I'm like, well, what the hell? But I'm thinking, come up with a name that you're going to say, and then do something different. I like throw a name out there. If you're gonna say Deshaun, then vote Danny. Like, come up with two names. Why are we only
Yeah.
saying one? That's just bad
The
surprise.
strategy in this tribal council is just duck for
Yeah. I mean, like, I
cover.
don't even think like it would take us 3 hours to talk about every single thing that they did.
No, I think.
So confusing,
I
really
mean, the
going
thing
into
is,
tribal,
you
like,
just like Danny, like shut up and hopefully your names doesn't come. Like Nasir, like
yeah.
just shut up. Your name's not out
I
there.
was
Just like
very,
duck
very
for
worried
cover.
for I was worried for all of them.
I
Like,
thought Liana was gonna steal Nasir's advantage.
yeah, so let's talk about this moment, Frank, that you brought up of Xander talking to Danny in the shelter because Danny had no idea about Liana's power. So it complicates this mess even further.
Yeah, I think Xander knew exactly where Danny's allegiance was, and I think he was trying to get them to do exactly what they did. I think 100% that was premeditated, thought out well, and executed perfectly.
And I think one more thing is there's a low undertow. There's a guys alliance going on.
Well,
Notice
I think
all
they're
targets.
definitely worried about a women's
Well,
alliance.
exactly. And I think Danny's primary focus at that time is to get a girl out, but that was not mentioned in the episode. But there's a strong undertow when Danny, Deshaun, Nasir, and Xander, and well, I don't think Ricard's part of it, but like I know they brought Xander in. Like you're the only guy. Like it's really a girl's outnumbered us 8-5.
Yeah, it was a
I think there's
win-win
an
for Xander.
undertow. Absolutely. It's a win-win for Xander. He gained trust with Danny. He made Liana out like a snake. She is. And then it's fostering this bond between the boys.
And
When
controlling the
Xander's
narrative for the advantage.
correct, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
controlling the narrative for the advantage and making Liana do a double take, and then bluffing whatever he had to do, and I think that was master class. Like, you
Master.
gotta
Like
give it to the boy,
Xander,
you know.
yeah, Xander is so young, and he does not give
You
off the
gotta
vibe
give
that
it.
he is as young as he
Yeah,
is. And this was just really, really good strategic gameplay. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if it was all on Xander or if it was a Xander, Evie, Tiffany, like all three brain power coming together, but this was amazing gameplay. Like,
Yeah.
this is what we watch Survivor for. Like going in and it being so uncertain and like, you're worried, like, because no offense, Xander, like, he kind of gives off the surfer bro, like maybe he's a little bit dumb, which he's obviously not,
He's like
and
a
you're like,
Devin Pinto vibe.
oh my gosh, like he is going to just, hold on to this idol and Leon is going to steal it. And you're so worried that, like, he's just going to play right into their hand. But no.
Yeah. He came onto the season, and I was a skeptic because I'm always a skeptic of younger players. I don't remember what type of shoes he wears, but he's worn some like crazy expensive,
Like
like
Pharrell Williams,
they're
Adidas, like
super expensive.
human.
He wore them out there, and I'm thinking like, what is this guy doing? But with the level of gameplay he is playing, those shoes are going to be worth some fucking money
Frank, if I
after
would,
even
if
more
I,
money.
oh yeah, if I was on Survivor, actually DK Chillin is one of my favorite shoe games. He wore like these teal Air Jordans. So if I go on Survivor, you best believe the most expensive pair of shoes going to be put on. I can buy the pair of shoes again, but like I love DK Chillin was ghosted in his in season Island of the Idols. All I can see are those teal Jordans. I'm like, those are expensive. They're like $500. So I'm here for it, DK Chillin. But no, I absolutely love how Xander's edit is like. It's kind of like a Devin Pinto type thing. But I knew that Xander was a gamer because Jack mentioned to me early on that him and Xander were big and little in their fraternity, and when he introduced them to Survivor, they binged everything. Jack's a really good player, so
Yeah,
I'm
find
not
out how
surprised.
much his shoes were for us for the next episode. I want to know how much they were worth before he went into the game, and then we'll follow up later next year with how much he sold them for on eBay.
All right, so at the tribal council, anything y'all want to bring up before Xander flexes and busts out his idol?
Before, it's such a blur. It was like trying to recall a car wreck that happened. Just everything happened so fast.
That's why I'm like putting it on y'all to see if you remember anything, because there's like when Xander pulls out the idol, when Liana reads the advantage, and then everything after. So
Yeah.
I don't remember anything before then. I feel like there was some things of like, we definitely get the infamous Tiffany eye roll whenever she's, listening to Liana talking about loyalty. And I'm like, oh God, this is not good. This is not good for her.
Was
It's
the
a
Deshaun everything? Was that before or after?
$1,250 shoe
I
on StockX.
Yeah.
That's very expensive. That's a very expensive. Damn.
I forgot what I just said.
don't know.
But did Deshaun throw Evie under the bus before? That was after, right? After he.
Yep, that was after. So Xander busts out his idol, and Liana is like, here's my moment. I'm going to read my advantage. So, Xander, let me ask you, do you have an idol? And he said, I do. I have this fake idol that you can have. And my soul just broke for Liana a little bit, because this is like taking you back to high school whenever, you get super embarrassed in front of all of your friends. Like, Xander just pulled the rug out from under her, and she thought she was going to have this iconic move, the most powerful thing, except for maybe Erica's advantage, one of the most powerful things we've ever seen in the game. And yeah, no, this goes disastrously.
Did he have to tell her it was a fake idol? Did he have to be honest?
I don't think he had to tell her it was fake. I think he could have been like, here you go.
Then why
because
do that?
He wanted to do it to be iconic too, Frank. Come on.
But how
it would have been more fun
yeah.
for them to put all their votes on Evie, and then then bust out the real idol, play it for Evie.
No,
But I guess
but I
this way
think
it worked out.
Shan said it.
Yeah.
Shan said it at the end. She Tribal Council said Evie has the idol. Like Evie has the idol. Like, what are you guys thinking? Like, come on.
But she doesn't.
But she might not have said that had he just been like, "Here you go."
Correct.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. How could you do that to me?
But you
Make
can't
a big,
lie. You
make
can't
a
lie.
big
You
event
can't
of
lie.
it.
You can't lie. You can't lie.
I don't know. I mean, that would be really interesting.
The rule said you can't lie. So Xander.
Well, I think it was more if
lie.
you can't lie of like, no,
If
I don't
you
have the
have it.
idol.
Yeah.
Like, but
Well,
could
if
you
you
lie
have
and be
you
like,
don't have idol, but here you can have one. And I think that's part of the rules.
it would be interesting to see what Xander says and, find out exactly like if they could have done it. I guess the way that it worked out is they got out who they wanted to get out anyways, and they still have the idol. So, and there's a definite, not just a line drawn in the sand. There is like Moses parting the sea divide. Like these are two people on separate sides.
Oh yeah. I think I think the people that are on the outs right now are Tiffany, Xander, and Erica. Sorry, not Erica. Sorry, Tiffany, Xander, and Evie.
Yeah.
But I think Tiffany and Evie are in trouble. They might successfully get Evie next, but I think Xander's insulated by the boys, and Tiffany, I think, is gonna somehow finagle her way to the end because she's still in the game.
Looking at what they show us for next week, it looks like just another mess, which is great. Like, if we're not going to be able to completely follow the strategy because it's hard to strategize when there's so many advantages out there and so many things that people don't even know about, then I'm here for good TV, entertainment.
I need to go through and have a list of where all the advantage are currently because not a lot got played. There's so many extra votes.
Everybody has their shot in the dark because the one person that played it got voted out. Deshaun did play his extra vote and he played it on Evie, which that's going to be interesting to go back and, see the fallout because Deshaun does also throw Evie under the bus to Xander. Just there's so many little nuances that I really wish that we would have been able to do this tomorrow night so that I could have gone back and watched it. It's so much to process.
And also, mind you, the shot in the dark is now 2-11. So there's 12 scrolls. So now that one is out, it's 2
Are
out
you
of
sure?
11.
I thought it was always a 1 in 6
because
it's a dice.
It's not a dice. You get a scroll.
But you put a dice in, and a dice has 6 sides, which would be the...
I think that the odds stay the same. I don't think it goes down because...
You have to... Because that's what in Australian Survivor, this is actually a stolen twist from Australian Survivor. When you take a scroll out, it doesn't get replaced again.
But there was no dice involved in that.
I don't think there was any dice involved in the scroll. How did
they gave them all the dice?
Yeah, the dice is symbolic.
If you throw the shot in the dark, that's this. I think it's more symbolic, and then you take a scroll.
Well, I think it's symbolic of the 1 in 6 odds or 2 in 12. Reduce your fraction.
I wonder if Jeff says it's 2 out of 11. And it's suddenly 18.
We need a rules check,
instead
Jeff.
of 16.
Yeah, we need a rules check.
It's
so we
0.1818 bar.
We still have 11 shots in the dark. We still have 3 idols with Nasir, Shan, and Xander. We still have extra votes for Xander.
Mm-hmm. And Shan.
Is that it?
And Shan.
And
the card gave back.
And Shan has an extra vote. So I think that is it. I think we've got 2 extra votes, 3 idols, and 11 shots in the dark. So
it's going to be wild. And I think right now the game is everyone in that core alliance needs to be making sure Nasir is tight with them.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting. What do we think the odds are that this group, this Danny, so Danny, Deshaun, Erica, what? Erica, after you just screwed this group of 6 people over, decides to vote with them. Danny, Deshaun, Erica, Heather, Nasir,
Ricard,
Ricard,
Shan, and
Shan, and
Liana.
Liana. Do we see this group of people staying strong and true to each other? Because I don't think there's any chance.
No, I think they're going to be unified in going after Evie, and then I think we see a shift. And then we'll see a shift.
Agreed.
Then we'll see a shift.
I think Evie's done next round.
So, do you think Xander would be willing to play his idol on Evie next round?
Potentially, but when Xander finds out his name is on the block and he doesn't win immunity, or he does something again, I don't know. But
I think there will be enough time for we'll probably see Xander get comfortable with a pitch from Danny as far as an all guys. I think Danny might throw that out to Xander, make Xander feel safe. I think Shannon is going to be working it all though. I think she's
think
already.
Shannon's
You
ultimately
saw her
gonna
at
get
that
caught.
live tribal. Just the way she has just this commanding presence, and I think she has so much control over so many people. And I see her already starting to build bonds with people like Nasir, and who knows, she might even come after pull Tiffany in once they get rid of Evie. Like,
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see where things are going to go. Scrolling through the comments, Sheldon says, why did Erica go back to the people who fucked her over and sent her away? So what do y'all think about her decision to go back? Not just the people that screwed her over, but then the people she in turn screwed over. Like,
I think
why
she's
didn't
smart.
her and Heather decide to go with the other side? Like,
Because Heather's Heather. I don't think Heather's playing a strategic game. She's just playing
the game.
a game.
She's there.
She's there. And I think that Erica is smart enough to. She's been out of the game for 2 days, 2 nights. She came back. She's reading the room to see where the power and majority's at, and she's going with that. She
Yeah.
has so much time to make moves, I think. I don't think this is where Erica has any social capital to try and sway anything. I think
is
she
she
goes
ever
with
going
the
to
right
have
group.
social capital with the group she voted with this week?
Well, no,
Never.
but I think Erica would
If
be
Sean
able.
decides.
No, but the thing is, I think Erica could be valuable in a future tribal, to blindside someone and then make her move. But if you're immune, if you're not going anywhere, the best thing to do is shut the hell up and just do what you're told.
I mean,
to
I'm
do.
just thinking, like, if I'm coming back into this game, this group has just sent me off. I've broken the hourglass and,
Then you're
made them
dead.
vulnerable. I am flipping to the other side. Like, I'm going to say, Heather, like, we're on the outs here and we can go over here and,
And change the game.
change the game. Like, oh,
I don't
You
know.
are a dangerous player. I don't think they're playing that level of game. They're not playing an offensive
There's just some
game.
people that don't play that kind of high level game. Like that's an obvious move watching on the TV, but I don't think it's a bad move at all. Like I don't think now is the right time to strike. Because if
Not
you
for her
strike
with
at
all
the
the big
final 10,
presence.
no, at the final 10 you rise up again as a target. Slide under. There's a utility in sliding under the radar and not saying anything. It's not you.
there is a
Let me-
utility in sliding under the radar, but you also have to have agency if you want to win. And
Absolutely.
somebody like Erica, who is very soft spoken, she's very small in stature, like she is going to have to make a big, bold move. She is going to have to flip the script on the entire game if she is going to want to have the story to sell to the jury, because they are not going, if she does not make any type of big move, then she is Julie. She is Laurel. She is going to get to
And
the
I
end,
feel like
and
she's
people are
gonna
going
be
to
one of
completely
those.
discount what she did.
And I feel like
I-
she's one of those actually. She's one of those people that will end up taking a final tribal council spot. and just
That's why
not
she
getting
should have made a
votes.
big move tonight.
Correct.
Well, I think, like I said, I think she still has time. I think as long as they are going after big targets, big players, she's fine because she can let all those big players take out each other, start making big moves, take Heather to the end, and win. because
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a final 2.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a final 2 also. So one last thing before we kind of start wrapping this up, let's talk about Sydney's exit confessional where she's like, I'm glad that I didn't make the jury because I do not want to see any of these people's faces ever again. And anything I've got going on in my life has to be a million times better than anything that could have come out of this show. And I'm just like, damn, like, I love this girl's energy in the show, but I'm also like, I can understand being a little bit bitter as you're leaving. Like, it's hard, 10 seconds after you've been voted out from, losing $1 million to like be humble. But I'm just like, oh, this is so cringy. And I'm very, very excited to listen to her exit press tomorrow to see if she has the same energy.
I think she showed her immaturity when she was leaving, and I knew it. Seeing her facial reactions when certain things would happen, she just gives me spoiled brat vibes, and that I think her exit proved what I felt the whole season with her.
Yeah, like I really wanted her to just kind of be like this, this archetype that you don't see a lot of times. Very confident, but kind of not the overly friendly or flirtatious. Like, she didn't fit exactly into a poverty role. She was kind of a true villain, and I was excited to see it play out, but not loving the exit. Like,
was she a villain? She went out on her first.
No, I wanted
council.
her to be like. This is what I wanted her role to fulfill. Of like just being a badass and completely owning it, but
she seemed like another nephew of Russell's. Like, that's the vibes I was getting.
I do believe if we go back and check the tape, she did say that he is her favorite player. So speaks for itself.
No surprise, both of them have zero social awareness.
Yeah,
I think she was just
maybe related.
I think like Sydney, that was so cringeworthy. It's very difficult to speak, and there's bitterness when you get voted out. Absolutely, but you gotta keep it together, and it's
you gotta stay classy. Exit. That's my opinion.
Always have to be classy. I think it's gonna be on TV. You have to be very cognizant about that. That the camera, no matter how real the game gets, like how Kylan kind of went. That reminds me how Kylan went home.
Oh yeah, that was awful.
Big Brother, and
See, I'm a psychopath up until the last vote's been read. I'm voted out. Then I'm like, smiles. It's all game. It's all game.
Did have a very classy exit in real fun.
Like this is some bullshit. Like, I shouldn't have played my shot in the dark. I guess that is something else we should bring up. If Sydney had not played her shot in the dark and had put her vote onto Deshawn, it would have been 4-4.
5-4-4.
No.
Yeah, because there's an extra vote. Oh no, still 5-4-4. Yeah, because
she could have voted Evie.
She could have voted Evie.
She could have voted Evie, but she wasn't, right?
She didn't. No.
But she could have.
Yeah, if she would have not used that and just voted Evie,
you're right,
with the other majority, she would have.
Yeah,
they would have tied it, and they would have sent Evie home over her.
They probably would have sent Evie home. Yeah.
Yep. So, that's gotta hurt too. So I mean, like, I can understand, like, having the bitterness of like, these people that I have been playing the game with this whole time wrote my name down. They were willing to throw it out there. So I can understand that and being a little bit salty, but yeah, it was cringeworthy.
How ballsy was Xander though? Don't play the idol.
Evie's
like, play it.
It's his idol.
I love it because he did what, as much as he could, some theatrics, but then he's still hanging on his idol. I loved everything that Xander did.
Yeah, I mean, if Evie goes, and the target is off him.
Right.
Because Evie is someone that Yasa 3 suddenly becomes a Yasa 2, and suddenly that's not as big of a threat anymore. And then Xander ends up getting... he can play the idol on himself or Tiffany and be a 50-50 shot at getting it correct. And what if he gets immunity next round, plays it on Tiffany, and the two of us aren't going home? Or at least bluff it to play on Tiffany.
Yep, we're going to switch it over from being a Stan Chan account to being a Stan Xander account because he earned it. Everything he did was spot on. So...
We gotta bring Ricard with us. I'm keeping Ricard.
All right, so Frank, let's go into the awards.
Yes.
What do we have first tonight?
Top of the food chain. This one's going to be tough.
Oh, God.
top of the food chain. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to give top of the
Xander,
food.
Xander,
I'm going to
Xander,
give it to
Xander.
Deshaun. Okay, so let me tell you why. Deshaun is the one that was like, "Can we please flip the vote?" And I don't know if he wanted to flip it from Sydney to Evie, but I'm going to give him the credit that he wanted to, actually, no, I take it back because thinking that he voted twice for Evie, he doesn't really get the top of the food chain. I don't know.
I give it to Xander. I think Xander had a coming out episode. We knew that he knew how to play. He has agency with the boys. He has agency with Yasa. And there's at least 7 people, 6 people, five or 6 people in the game that are not willing to vote Xander out at this point, which is great for him. I think he's shown his true colors. I think he deserves to be. He still has an advantage. He still has an extra vote. I think Xander's gonna go pretty far in this game. I'm excited to see how he does.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
This
know
is
either.
tough.
Like, I talked
I think-
myself out of Deshaun. I wanted it to be Deshaun, but it's not.
Who is it for you? If it's not Deshaun.
Maybe it's still Shan.
That's where I'm at. Like, I don't think she was flashy. She was smart enough to not use her extra vote. She could have, but she knows no one except for Ricard knows about that. I think she's put together a strong alliance. She's got the majority, and I think she's going to work her charm within that majority to have the inside of the majority within the majority.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that Shan's still in a really, really great position. So,
Dark Horse, I'll go first since you guys went first, but that would be where I would put Xander. Xander is my dark horse right now.
yeah.
Just because he has such a good read on the game. He may not have the numbers and the power right now, but if he can go a couple more weeks and get to a power shift, that dude.
Yeah, Xander is an outlier. Like, I think that I can see a path now where we get a Xander win, and it's a shot in the dark, but that's why he's a dark horse. So I agree. I'm going to give it to Xander also.
Absolutely, I think Xander's game is just. I picked him as my
Well, we
my
can't
top
do
of the
both.
food
We
chain.
can't
I'm
do
gonna
be
both.
both.
Like, it's
That's
contradictory.
how it works.
I'm not dumb, Kylie. I was just agreeing with y'all.
Thank you for agreeing with us. We like it when you do that.
The dark horse. I still think. Why is it in my gut? Why is it in my gut? Is Tiffany. It's in my gut. Like, why does it? That since she said in the first episode, I was a pre-vivor, now I'm a survivor, and I'm gonna come up. She came up on top. Like that, and then the way she's playing, the way she's not a target, the way the previews next round, she's like, "Is it me?" But the target was brought up as Tiffany, so she's probably not going home. I think she can destroy that big 4+2 alliance from inside. And just a little bit of paranoia. She knows how to drop little bits and pieces of paranoia. No.
She is paranoia.
She is paranoia.
She has no function.
No,
She's
no.
functioned
I mean,
her whole
I-
life with paranoia. She may know how to do it
I
now,
she's
still
a
but
Jewish
like
mom.
her
She's a
as a
Jewish
dark
mom. You
horse.
perfect paranoia. You perfect paranoia as a Jewish mom. Like the
she may have done
stereotype
that.
I
It's
still like
true.
Tiffany as a dark horse, but it's not a little bit of paranoia. It's a whole lot. Like,
It's called.
yeah, you see that meme where they're like, like God is like, like composing the person, and he's like, oh, a little bit of awesome, and like he dumps the whole thing in. When God was making Tiffany, he was like a little bit. Oh shit! I dropped in all the paranoia. She got both. She got the whole jar.
Someone
I mean,
unscrewed the cab.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's what we love about her. But she's playing a good game.
Yeah.
And she's making it work for her, right? She's making it work for her. The fact that she forgave Xander about the Xander mishap, the fact that Xander still trusted her with the idol, the fact that when she tribal, she's like, it's not my idol.
I don't.
Like
I agree she's a dark horse, but I don't think she's playing a strong game. She's in a minority, and she's the weakest in the She's got Evie and Xander, who
Which
are
is perfect.
two balling
There's so many
players
big
that everyone's
boys.
going to go at first. I think she's
So
in a
many
good spot,
men,
but I don't
there's
think
so
it's
many.
by her
There's so many
design.
stronger. It's not, but it's perfect because she knows herself. She's not. She has 2 mastectomy scars on when she takes her shirt off. She's clearly not the biggest physical threat. She's clearly not the most, liked person. She's clearly paranoid. But I think Tiffany knows that about her, and she can, as long as she positions herself well and makes the right moves, which she clearly did this tribal, given that she was safe and hold on to idol, and everything about Tiffany's game
There is a chance
is
she's a high
fascinating to
functioning
watch.
crazy person. There are those people out there. I think we're all pretty much high functioning crazy people.
All
Maybe
right,
not as
so
paranoid.
final award of the night.
Entertainment Gold. I'm gonna give it to CBS for this whole episode. Just Entertainment Gold.
I'm
trying
going
to
to give it
think-
to
oh
Erica
my-
for smashing that hourglass.
No, I'm gonna give it to Liana for trying to compare herself to Parvati and Sandra and giving us this absolute cringeworthy moment. I think I always give my entertainment gold to something positive and like Nasir week after week, but I think this cringeworthy moment deserves entertainment gold because I kind of loved it. I was never too hot on Liana. I thought there was something about that $1 million mistake that is gonna come back to haunt her, and she did, and she flopped in a blaze of glory tonight. And she looked but you said in high school when it didn't go her way and she had to fess up in front of her friends.
So really though, entertainment gold, yes, Erica, you are the catalyst that set this all off, but I'm going to give it to Xander. Xander is the one that mastered the fake idol, or at least he's the one that's getting credit for it. So we'll give it to Xander.
Yeah, just all the smooth moments. I'm gonna break this tie and go with Xander.
Kiley and Frank on the same
so many moments this episode. He's just pulling me in to be a #1 fan.
Oh, I love
I'm gonna be
Xander.
right now. My fingers are really crossed that we can get Jack to pull him on after the season because
Yeah,
I
we
have
would
so
love-
many questions
we'd love an
about
opportunity
this
to
episode
talk.
alone.
Yeah. Yeah, so many questions. So many questions. But yes, this was great. I'm excited for next week. I feel like Survivor has definitely redeemed themselves because last week I was really, really mad at them. And so
I had faith.
I
had faith.
apologize. I apologize. Sometimes we're wrong and it's good to admit when you're wrong. And they knew what they were doing, so this was great. Bob says Tiffany could pull Heather and Erica into her alliance. So it's oh my gosh, a hot mess express. All right, so
Tiffany would win that final 3 though.
oh yeah. All right, coming up this week, Frank, what do you have going on?
I don't even know. I made this stream 10 minutes before we were supposed to do it. I'm pretty sure the fans have spoken. We'll be here tomorrow night at 8. That's the plan. Hopefully we'll fit in a challenge recap here soon with DeLucas. We have a mini coming up. We have 1 spot left, I think, for the Game Night Gauntlet, which is pretty much our own thing that we just created, kind of inspired by the game nights that we host, and that's going to be November 19th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 10 players. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think I'm excited for it, and I don't even get to play. So
Stan, you got anything to plug?
No, I think. Oh, watch Live to Give episode 2, and I think Live to Give episode 3, which is going to be a big one, is going to be coming up this Sunday. I was told this Sunday it's going to be big, so you guys got to watch it.
All right. So make sure you give us a like, drop us a comment, let us know your thoughts on this wild episode of Survivor.
the draft also. Don't forget that.
We are opening The Challenge All-Stars 2 draft tonight. So I will
I
drop the
didn't even
link.
know there was an All Stars 2.
There's a 3, and
There's
it's
already-
even
they're
more
already coming
epic.
through. It's amazing. If you did not watch the Challenge All Stars 1, you have time to binge it in the next week. It's a shorter season, some good throwback people you've not seen in a while, way more entertaining than the long version. So you can join our draft. Always have big pots. Hopefully, this one is also going to be big. So I will drop that link in the comments, and make sure you leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts on our episode, the Survivor episode, and everything that's happening in the world of Survivor. And we will see you guys next week.